Yeah. Do it again. Hold. Don't push your hips back as much. Don't push them back as much. And now lift your arse cheeks up rather than pushing back. When you push back too much, you lose the glute pop. Bring your feet in just a touch. Just shoulder width, yeah? If you go wider, again, you'll lose the glute, but you'll get more adductor. So make sure it's like shoulder. That's it. Don't push back anymore. But it probably feels like you're not hitting it hard, but it's there, yeah? Especially after today, with food in you and this session, because this session is literally just all fucking glute. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It'll fill that up a little bit. And it's a really short session as well, so you'll know. You're not gonna feel fucked after. Yeah. Hold. Hit. Open. Turn out. Yeah. That is literally it. That is it. Nothing else. And just literally tilt your arse cheeks up, 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 up. There we go. Try and almost elongate your glute. Rather than pushing back on your hamstring, you want to stretch the glute. Do you know what I mean? This is just like a little test. If I can do this, there's no like niggle, it means I'm ready to go. Right guys, welcome back to YouTube channel. We've got back day today. This is my new training block. The session is a little bit different and the exercise selection hasn't really changed all that much. However, I have changed the exercise order simply to reduce load exposure on one of the lifts. So I will take you through exactly what I've done as we go through the session. But for now, it's game time. A little warm up, which is always core work. I actually do core work before every single session. 2 sets before push, 1 to 2 sets before pull. Today I'm actually going to do 1 set because my abs are a little bit sore. So hanging leg raise, just 1 set. Then I will get stuck straight into the back day. So let's go and build a big back. Let's get it. Those of you that don't know, haven't seen the video, now you do know. I am a proud investor, owner of Natural Gym Equipment. And this is one of our new beauties that we have had built and customized just for us and for you. So if you want yours, you can order yours now, and trust me, we will not be beaten on quality and price. And that is a promise. So if you want one of these bad boys, drop us a message on Nitram Gym Equipment on Instagram. But when I failed, just push my lower back forward a little bit and just hold it. Once I fail, though, first. Push forward, 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 forward. A little bit more. This little adjustment actually changes the resistance a little bit, allowing me to actually get a little bit more work out of this. So, how many reps was that? Plenty though, plenty reps. If you want good core, strong core for your training, and a good core for posing and displaying on stage, keeping a tight midsection in, you need to do core work, TVA work, and direct core work as well. So, get it done, don't be lazy. Just like part of my warm-up really. I like to generally do my core work first, hanging regular specifically, just to keep my shoulders nice and healthy and still get some abdominal work in. Now, straight and pull down and some active retractions and protractions under load, just to get some blood around my shoulder joint and into my lats before exercise number 1, which is the single arm cable pull down. Super easy to set up, you can use it on any cable machine and super effective as well. So Get it done. Single arm pull down cues. First, you want to set your bench, set up your bench. You don't really need to use this setup. You can do this exercise on a regular pull down machine. However, for me, this is a lot more comfortable and I feel I can get a lot more from this. So, super simple. When you're putting yourself down and in, if you use your left arm, nice, strong grip. Use your right arm to pull yourself in. Sit down into the bench. Lean back 10 degrees. Keep tension in your core. Slight crunch onto the working side. Don't excessively lean, just a slight bit of tension onto the working side oblique. Use your right arm for bracing, hold onto the bench, pressure down into your left foot if you're using your left arm, keeping your body weight on all this side. Now, reach forward as far as you can, allowing your lat to wrap around your rib cage, keeping your hand slightly semi-supinated to get your shoulder externally rotated. Once you are in this position, drive your elbow down and in to the pocket of the hip. Once your elbow finishes parallel with your rib cage, pause and then reach forward again. Now, as I come to the stretch, I don't just think about reaching forward. I think about driving my elbow forward, down and away from me, and then reach forward as far as I can, letting my lat wrap around my rib cage. Write that one down. But it's the same exercise as this really. It's just a different variation of it. So I'll alternate this and the standing one. So when I start with this, I'll do standing. Then when I start with standing, I'll go back to this.
When I'm kneeling, got the knee on, I find like I'm like having to like lean back more because the weight's pulling me forward. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm actively leaning back more. I'm still sitting, just planted there, innit?
Yeah, a little bit, yeah. But then with standing, you've got your bracing point here, and then you've got to keep that weight on this leg. If you put it on your kneeling leg, that's when you're...
No, yeah, it's on that leg, it's just...
Yeah, it will be a bit harder, but it's it does hit a little bit of a different division of your lat as well, because of the position you're in as well, but both great movements. Yeah, keep them there, and literally from here, just drag and contract that back. So from here, keep the elbow there, but then just, you know what I mean? Got the boys training with me, so gotta make sure they're smashing it. Once you've got that point of that stretch where it's deep, and then you drive it back down in it. But really capitalise on the stretch here. Yeah, that's what you want. Chase that pain though, chase that pain. 9 and a 5, please, bro, let's go. How long should you rest when you are doing unilateral work? You should treat the sets completely separate. So for me, I do my left arm, I let Mark do his left arm, then we do the opposite arm. It is a separate set. If you can go straight into your right arm after doing a single arm pull down or any unilateral movement, you simply have not trained hard enough. Like that one now. Straighten out the wrist, straighten out, straighten out. Relax that wrist a little bit, straighten that.
Oh yeah.
That's it. There we go. Wrist always has to stay straight. If you flex that wrist, forearm's going to be doing a bit of work, yeah? Don't extend. Come on this side a little bit. There we go. Lean back a little bit. Push that rib cage up back. There. There we go. Reach forward, motherfucker, reach forward. Reach forward, reach forward, reach forward. There, and now drive down in. Yes. stand on the left hand side. That's all right, that. Yeah, fucking.
No, that's not
Fuck it.
like a mental game.
Fuck it. I'm actually thinking, fucking hell. This feels a bit heavy, this. Matt here actually put me extra weight on. So I'm actually a bit happy. In the set I was like, this does feel a bit heavy, but I actually got a lot more than I expected, so all-time PB on a pull down, let's get it. It's not a deadlift all-time PB, but it still counts. Extreme row. This is a movement that will target your upper back and the upper division of your lat, which is your thoracic lat. Now, personally for me, this is an ideal exercise to follow up on from a lower lat exercise because you still get some degree of lat, but predominantly this will be more targeted towards your upper back. For all the nerds out there, biased towards the upper back. But I want my audience to understand things truly and deeply, so I'm going to really simplify things today so you can understand everything I do and thought process behind it. I think that's super important for me to make sure that you guys can actually get something from this, and I'm not just using big words to sound fucking clever, because I'm not. I just love bodybuilding and that's all I know. Exercise number one, what you've noticed is there's no shoulder elevation. Slight protraction happens, however, to keep the movement on the lat and try and target the lat a little bit more, we don't allow this to happen. So there's no shoulder extension to a degree or elevation. Slight protraction is completely fine, but the goal is to really maximize the lat. Here, it's actually the opposite. We want full protraction and full retraction of the scap. So what you notice here, guys, is our shoulder blades will work to their full capacity, and we aim to drive the upper arm past our rib cage. Regardless of what movement or what actual machine you use, this principle will apply the same for all your upper back movements. So take note of that, guys, and make sure you know the difference of what you're trying to target, lat or upper back. It helps tremendously with back development. This actually feels really good. Whenever you go into any set, across any exercise you do, back in particular, this is even more important. Initiate the movement with a contraction. Back is a muscle that you cannot see in the mirror when you train. So I do feel like a lot more people struggle with connection with the back. Now, setup and execution are by far the most important. But aside of that, you have to develop a degree of internal stimulus that allows you to develop good mind to muscle connection, which to a degree is a byproduct of good setup and execution, but it sure does help when you try to initiate movement with contracting the target muscle that you're trying to train, not just powering through it. There's a big difference between weightlifting and actually bodybuilding. So take note of that and you know what to do. "45 grams of performance fuel, 20 grams of sustain." It's exactly what it says it does. Performance fuel. Get yours, trainbygb.com, Cuba10. You know the code. The most anabolic code of all time. For the most anabolic nutrition of all time and clothing. those of you that haven't seen yet, we actually have a brand new podcast studio built in UltraFlex Rotherham. It is soundproofed and it's actually got the full setup. It's got the microphones, it's got all the tools you need for you to record your own podcast. Now, Alex, who is actually behind the camera right now, he will be outsourcing, providing his services for anyone who wishes to use him for the podcast, for editing and all the fancy stuff. And you can come and visit and actually rent the studio as of when you wish. So if you want to get down, do some podcasting in a professional environment, soundproofed, you know where it's at. UltraFlex Rotherham. Let's go. Slight adjustment of this layout of the session. Now, I always analyse my training and analyse where I can actually improve. So today's session, I have tweaked slightly, meaning that each movement and the resistance profile of each movement complements one another a little bit more. Now, those of you guys who are not an advanced level and who are not in my position where the 1% really matters, forget about this. Those of you guys who need that 1%, little details like this truly do make a difference. So we'll start with that pull down, that predominantly overloads the shortened range, which is this range here, where you are the weakest, and it only makes sense to use that exercise as exercise number 1 to begin with. Exercise number 2, as you can see here guys, we're using the prime extreme row. Having the ability to adjust resistance profile is excellent. Loading this machine heavier in the stretch, and over each set, we're actually adjusting resistance to make it heavier and heavier in the stretch, matching the resistance profile of the machine with the strength curve of our back. Following on from this, we go onto an upper back pull down, again using the prime, making sure it's nice and heavy in the stretch. And then we'll finish on a lat bias row, which heavily loads the stretch and drops off in the shortened range, where we are going to be completely exhausted by the end of the session. So working in the sequence has many benefits. One, we are spreading the volume across lat, upper back pull down, and then the lat, working in horizontal plane and vertical plane, targeting all divisions of the back equally with the right sequence across the entire workout. What time is it, Alex? He knows what time it is. Time to get fucking massive. Any pull down, any upper back row, you don't really want to focus too much where your elbow travels, because how far this will travel is also dependent on how long this is. When you look at the difference with Meg and her structure, she drives it through and her elbow is all the way like here and she gets full retraction. My arm is extremely short and thick. So for me, full retraction is here. So it looks a lot different, but the focus remains the same. Full retraction of the scap in the shortened range, and the full protraction into that stretch, allowing your shoulders to travel forward, elevate. Imagine that you're trying to wrap your shoulders around your pecs. Then as you're driving through, elbows through and back, sternum stays lifted, this portion of your pec stays lifted, and then we'll drive your elbows through and back hard. Fucking beautiful. quite some time, the way I've been structuring my pull sessions is my rear delt work I've actually been placing straight after my bicep work. Now, my reason for that is when I go straight into my rear delt work after training back, because you tend to use a little bit of your rear delt with your back training, when you train the lat and upper back, it does tend to get slightly fatigued. Now, at the moment, my pumps are excruciating. So, leaving a little bit of time in between my back training, allowing the back to settle a little bit and the pump to come down, allows me to get more productive sets when it does come to my rear delt training. I found that going straight into my rear delts after my back work has actually taken away from my ability to perform well in my rear delt movements. So if you have the same issue, try it out, guys. Break things up, train your biceps, smash it, and then trash your rear delts and get fucking wide. Let's go. I'm just channeling my inner Dorian Yates. You've got to think you're a Dorian. Apart from, I'm the version that actually caught AIDS. So, when you think about it, that's like the best comparison. Dorian versus Dorian with AIDS. All the way. Yep. We're actually a drop set here. So, one way to indirectly increase your training volume can be addition of drop sets. Now, where drop sets are the most applicable, it's going to be dependent on what phase you're in. In contest prep, forget it. The worst thing to possibly do. However, in an off-season phase, when you are in a surplus and you have an abundance of energy, this is where utilizing drop sets on single joint isolation exercises can be beneficial. Now, where I prefer to utilize drop sets is exercises like this, or laterals, or even tricep movements. Anything that is more so isolation work that does not bring about a high degree of fatigue. You should not really use drop sets on big compound movements. The likelihood of you doing quality work and doing drop sets on big lifts like this is very slim. So focus on taking those sets to complete failure and working hard. However, isolation movements like this, that's where drop sets can be beneficial if you're on a surplus and you have the energy to facilitate this kind of work. Yep. 5 off. One more. Last exercise, cable curl. Now, this variation will be more biased towards the length and range. So length and range simply means working when it's heavy in the stretch, and the load drops off as you curl through. Now, the reason for that is pretty simple. This is where I'm still going to be pretty strong in this stretch, and then the load drops off where my biceps is completely exhausted. So it only makes sense for me to finish on this exercise. Now, this is one of my favorite bicep exercises to finish your arm training off. So make sure that you use appropriate load, control the end ranges, spend a little bit of time in the stretch, curl through, contract your bicep as hard as you can, and then don't just drop down. Resist the weight down, and most importantly, take a set all the way to failure. The biggest bang for your buck are the reps that are closer to failure. These are the most effective reps that lead to a stimulatory response that will lead to bigger arms, and we all want bigger arms, so let's get it. At this point now, my readouts are quite fresh, so I can actually get some good productive sets in place. Whereas before, if I was to go into this straight after my lat work and upper back work, I would be in a position where I'm not quite fully recovered to truly put the work in for my rear delts and get the most out of the work that I'm about to do. Right, some stretching now, shoulder health, and some vacuum work.